Thank you, Anna. Has the screen switched to me yet? Here we go. Thanks, Anna. All right, well, the first thing that you will want to do when working in Spirit Maps is you're going to want to create a custom view. Now, when you first log into Spirit Maps, you're going to be presented with a screen called Default View. We just create a view for you to show you how Spirit Maps looks when you first sign in. But you can create as many custom views as you need depending on your weather needs, and you can easily switch between them using this drop-down menu. I've created a few custom views that I can show you. For example, I've done one on Arkansas temperatures, which shows you temperatures across Arkansas. I've done one with South Central Radar that shows the South Central regional radar and satellite. And so you can create as many of these views as you need, and it's super simple to do. All you need to do is bring up the drop-down menu and select the Add button. Then you're going to want to give your view a name. The naming convention that I find very helpful when creating these views is I usually look at the location, whether it's a city or a state or a county or a country, and I'll put the name of the location, and then I'll put one of the data sets that may be in the view, like temperatures or radar or something of that sort. For the webinar, I'm just going to call this view Webinar. And you'll just want to hit the Save View Name button, this little checkbox, and your view is created. That's all you'll have to do on creating a new view. I'm going to clear the data from this view so I can work with a clean slate. Once you've created your view, you're then going to want to choose a custom base map. It's very easy to choose a custom base map. All you need to do is pull out the workspace on the right-hand side of your screen, look down at the bottom where it says Base Layer, and hit the Change button. And we have a range of different base maps that you can choose in Spirit Maps, from some that resemble many of the popular mapping websites out there, to some satellite views, to some street level views, all sorts of different views. One of my personal favorites is Satellite Streets. It's just a really nice high resolution map view to look at. So that's the base map I'll be working with in the webinar. Different custom views can have different custom base maps. So you can have one view that has a more simple base map. You can have another view that has a more detailed base map. You can mix and match those however you wish. Once you've created a custom view and chosen a custom base map, you will then want to navigate around on the map using the map controls. And if you've used any popular mapping website out there, you already know how to do this. It is so simple to do. Up here in the upper left portion of your screen, you'll see a plus button that allows you to zoom in. You'll see a minus button that allows you to zoom out. And if you need to pan around on the map, you just simply take your mouse and click and drag it just like you would with any other popular mapping application. It is simple to do. We also have a full screen mode that you can click this button to show the map in full screen. The way I have the webinar set up on my screen, I won't do that at this time because it may take me out of the webinar. But our full screen mode differs from the full screen mode view that you have in your browser, because our full screen mode actually hides all your browser elements and allows you to focus just on the weather data and the map itself. And so if you're wanting to really focus on the weather data and looking at Spirit Maps and not have any of your browser controls there, you'll want to use our full screen mode versus the full screen mode that's built into your browser. And when you're done, you just simply hit the escape key and that'll take you out of full screen mode. We also have a really nice distance measuring feature, so you can actually measure the distance between a couple points. I'm going to zoom the map in a little bit and show you how this feature works. And we'll just zoom over here to the US, and I'll zoom in a little bit further. So if you wanted to see how far that storm is from you or how far the lightning is from you, you can use our distance measuring tool and create a new measurement. And then all you need to do is just click and drag your mouse and click again, and your distance is measured. You've got everything listed there. And when you're done, you can hit Finish Measurement, and your measurement displays on the line. And when you're done, you can just simply hit Delete and clear it. So very easy to use to be able to take measurements between different distances. Nice little feature there. Once you've positioned your map the way you want your map to be positioned, you're then going to want to proceed with adding some map layers. You're going to want to add some data to your map, and it's super easy to do that in Spheric Maps. All you'll need to do is go to the left-hand portion of your screen and pull out the Map Layers panel. And we have a wealth of different map layers that you can add in Spheric Maps. You can mix and match different map layers. For example, you can have a temperature contour with a temperature plot, or you can have temperature and radar mixed in together. You can mix and match these however you want to and get them just the way you want. It's very simple and very easy to do. Now you'll notice that some of our data sets just say contour only, and some of our data sets show contour and point. You may wonder, well, what is the difference between a contour and a point? Most of our data sets are going to be contour only. These are the type of data that's more graphically represented on the maps, more visually represented on the map. For example, radar and satellite and lightning, those are contours that display on the map. We also have contours of all of our observations, so you can graphically see on the map the different temperatures on a gradient scale across the map and see how that looks. For our observations, we also allow you to look at the points. These are the actual numerical points, the numerical readings of the data as well. So we give you that option where you can mix and match the two and be able to look at both. And in addition, on the map layers, I want to give you a brief overview of some of the exclusive data sets that you have in Spheric Maps to show you the benefits and the full benefits of being an Earth Networks customer. First off, we do have a suite of current observations, from temperature to high temperature to dew point to humidity to rain rate to daily rain to air pressure to wind speed. We've got a good suite of current observations. And in addition to pulling in data from the National Weather Service, we're also extending our partnership with the Weather Service to pull in CWAP. And so we're going to be doing some more stuff with the Weather Service on that front, as well as other international government agencies. We own and operate our own exclusive network of professional grade real-time weather stations installed in neighborhood locations. And all of that additional exclusive commercial data is available to you in Earth Networks Spheric Maps. I'm going to show you temperature just as a demo. And the other wonderful benefit of Spheric Maps is we are a global weather provider, which means you're not able to you were able to access not just the data for the US, but for the entire world as well. In addition to our current observations, we also have some radar and satellite views, which are excellent for storm tracking. We have, of course, the radar mosaic. Our radar mosaic does include winter radar, so we can tell the difference between snow and rain and freezing mix. Our winter radar actually does even take the temperature data from our network to more accurately fine-tune the contours of where the snow and the rain are, and so that's an extra added benefit. We also have a additional data set called PulseRad. Now what PulseRad does is PulseRad is a radar alternative. It's not the same thing as traditional radar. But how PulseRad works is we utilize our lightning network to simulate radar based on the lightning intensity, which is very handy for tracking where rainfall could be in areas where traditional radar can't go. For example, if you look out here across the sea, PulseRad's tracking some severe weather going on out there. We can detect that with our lightning network. These are in areas that traditional radar can't go into very easily. Also, if the terrain or the topography makes it difficult for radar to pick up, PulseRad can do that. So you have the benefits of both traditional radar on board as well as PulseRad, which allows you to, based on our total lightning network, simulate radar as well in those areas where it's difficult to see traditional radar. And PulseRad data is another global data set as well in Spheric Maps. We also have a few additional storm tracking tools as well as a few additional satellite tools. We have the infrared satellite, which works day and night. We have the visible satellite, which works best during the day. We also have a set of severe weather tools available. We have snow amount forecasts now in Spheric Maps. We have snow probability forecasts in Spheric Maps and freezing rain probability forecasts to help you better determine when that winter weather is going to hit your area. One of my favorite data sets that we have in Spheric Maps is our lightning data set. And of course, the Earth Network's total lightning network, the big benefit of the Earth Network's total lightning network to other lightning networks is we can detect total lightning. We detect lightning both in cloud and cloud to ground lightning. We do this in real time. We also do this on a global scale. It's another global data set that's available in Spheric Maps. And with our Earth Network's total lightning network, you're able to get access to this incredible data and see the total lightning picture available in Spheric Maps. I know more organizations are turning to Earth Network's total lightning network to power their lightning analysis, and you have access to this wonderful exclusive data right here in Spheric Maps. It's absolutely incredible. We have a couple other lightning tracking tools. You can track the lightning cell tracks and polygons in Earth Network Spheric Maps as well, which is very handy for tracking lightning. We also have local storm reports from the National Weather Service Skywarn that we load in there as well. Of course, tropical season will be here before you know it, and we are already getting you prepared for that. We have access to both the Atlantic and Pacific active and historical storms and some tropical tracking tools in Spheric Maps, so you can track your tropical weather, your severe weather, and winter weather all in one location. Additionally, we have access to alerts. We have access to both the National Weather Service alerts and the full suite of alerts there, from civil emergency to fire to tropical to winter to flood to severe. And we also have access to Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alerts. And what happens is with an Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alert, and I'll see if there's any severe weather going on that allows us to visually represent this. And I'm not seeing any on the map at this time. But what happens is with an Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alert is that we leverage our Earth Network's total lightning network during severe weather events. And when there is a high intensity of total lightning going on, well, I think there is actually some alerts. So let me zoom in here to Africa. Yeah, there are a few DTAs. Okay, great. Now I can visually show this to you. So what happens is when there is a high intensity of lightning during a severe weather event that could cause other forms of severe weather to happen, such as a severe thunderstorm, hails, tornadoes, we will issue what's called a Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alert. That's the purple polygon that you see on this map. I'll hide the lightning and let you see it. We will issue an Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alert. These are not the same as the National Weather Service severe thunderstorm warnings and everything. These generally come before some of those warnings happen to alert you of the possibility of severe weather before it happens. It's a very handy feature, and here in Arkansas, where I live, we get our share of severe weather. During severe weather season, we get some pretty active severe weather that comes through here, and I love being able to know about these Earth Network's dangerous thunderstorm alerts before some of the major severe weather hits our area, so I can be prepared for it. And so that is a look at some of the exclusive data that is available in Spheric Maps. Moving on, once you have your data selected the way you want to in Spheric Maps, you can then work with the user layers feature to customize your data a little further. I'm going to show you how that works I'm going to go over to the US. I'm going to select radar, and then I'm going to select temperatures and show you how this feature works. Once you've got your data on the map just the way you want it, You'll then want to go back to the right-hand portion of the screen where you chose your custom base map and take a look at the user layers panel. The user layers panel allows you to take the data plots that you've put on your map and do a little additional work with them. For example, you can change the opacity of the data. Right now, the radar is set to 75. If I wanted to bump that up a little bit, I could bump it up. I could bump it down. I can make it however opaque or transparent I want to in terms of the data. The other thing that you can do is with some of these data contours, such as radar, you can animate the data and see the history of where the rainfall and the radar's been moving through a certain area. You have that capability as well. You can show and hide data sets also using the user layers panel. So if you need to temporarily turn off the data set, you don't have to go back to the weather layers panel and switch it off. What you can do is actually come over here to user layers and just hit this show or hide button. So for example, if I wanted to temporarily hide the temperature plot, I can just click this button and it will hide the temperature plot. And then if I want to show it again, I can show it again. Same with radar. You can also use the user layers to move layers up and down in the user layers panel. So if I wanted my radar above the temperatures, I could do that using the user layers panel. And if you want a certain layer at the top, you can hit this button and it sends the layer all the way up to the top. If you click this little icon underneath of the show icon of the three little dots, you can then select some additional features, such as I can select this button and put a legend on the screen and see the difference between the rain and the snow and the wintry mix. And so you can do that as well. In addition to working with user layers in this panel, you can also go over to map data, and you can actually query some of the data on the map and actually look at the data in more details. For example, if I wanted to see what's going on here in Arkansas, I can click on the 59 mark, and it's going to query the data and display it here. This is coming from our station in Danville, Arkansas, our Earth Network station. And I can look at the current observations here in the map data. I can even click the plus button and get some additional data if I want to. And if I really want to dive into this station further, I can click on the Online Weather Center link and see the Online Weather Center for this particular station. And I can then dig into some daily observations or monthly observations or graphs and look at cameras and forecasts, all sorts of neat information that I can do there. In addition to the map data, you can also select more than one point on the map. So I can select a few points if I wanted to, and then I can export these points as a CSV file. So if you need to download the data and use it somewhere else, you can. And then if you want to clear your point data, you can either clear these individually, or you can just click this button and clear all of the point data at once. In addition to the map data feature, we also have a few drawing tools on board. We have the ability to draw a polyline, we have the ability to draw a polygon, we have the ability to draw a rectangle, we have the ability to draw a circle, a marker, all sorts of drawing tools. I'm going to just draw a rectangle and show you how this works. You just simply click and drag, and your shape has been drawn. And I can do this with the polyline and just show you how this works. You just click and drag and you can draw the line. When you're done, you would just simply hit the finish button. And if you want to delete a layer, you click on the delete button and then just click on the layers you wish to delete. In addition to the drawing tools, you can also add additional custom layers to Spheric Maps, so you're not just limited to the layers that we have available in Spheric Maps. You can add your own custom layers as well. The way that you would add custom layers is go up to the top of the map layers panel where all of our data layers are, and under custom layers, you will hit the add button. You will then want to give your custom layer a new name as well as select the type. We use the GeoJSON format for our map layers. And when it comes to these map layers, you can either bring in your custom GeoJSON code. So if you have some custom GeoJSON code, then you can just simply select it and paste it in here in the layers panel. If you have a GeoJSON file already, you can upload it to Spheric Maps. You can also upload a shape file. If the shape file's in a zip archive, you can upload that as well. So we take the GeoJSON files and shape files here on Spheric Maps. We may even work on putting together a list of common areas where you can find some of these GeoJSON files and shape files. I know they're out there on the internet and very easy to download and find. Many of them are free. And I've put together a custom layer for the purposes of the webinar entitled Maryland Airports. And once I've put that together, all I have to do is select the button to display it on the map, and it will display in Spheric Maps. And as you can see here, we now have the, and my mouse is wanting to act up today. Let's go over to Maryland and show you where the Maryland airports are. And here is a list of the Maryland airports. What's great about some of these shape files and GeoJSON files is you can query the map data just like you can with any of our plots. So for example, I can click on one of these and get some more information about this particular area. And I can even select more than one of these. I can export out as a CSV as well, and I can clear the data as well. So if you have any custom GeoJSON files or shape files, you can bring those into Spheric Maps and display them along with the weather data, which is a super handy feature as well. In addition to creating your custom layers in Spheric Maps, when you're done and you have your map exactly the way you want to, and I'll zoom out a little bit, go back to a nationwide perspective. Once you have your map exactly the way that you want it to be, you'll want to come up here and click the Save button. This is going to save the view exactly the way that you want it to be. And that way you can go into the view switcher and you can switch between different views, and all of your presets will be saved exactly the way you want them. If after you save a view and if you make any changes and you say, I don't want to keep these changes, then you can hit the undo button. What you'll do is you'll save the view first, and then if you make any changes after you've saved the view and you don't want those views to carry over, then you can hit the undo button to undo those changes. In addition to saving your custom views, you can actually take a couple different views and put together a slideshow and cycle between those views automatically. What you will do is go up to the slideshows button in Spheric Maps. You'll click the Add button to add a new slideshow. You'll give your slideshow a name. I'll just call it Webinar. And then you'll select a couple different views. I'll go ahead and select, I'm going to do Arkansas temperatures, and I'll do South Central radar and satellite, and I'll do our new webinar view that we created. And when you're done, you can hit Save to save the slideshow, and start the slideshow. And when your slideshow starts, it'll start in one view, and then it will cycle to additional views as well. And when you're done, you will be able to hit stop. And this is going to cycle for about 30 seconds in between views. Let me bump that down to 10 seconds. So we can speed things up a little bit. There we go. And this will allow you to cycle between views automatically. When you're done with your slideshow, you can stop the slideshow and close out. I'm going to switch back to our webinar view and now proceed to show you how to use the collaboration features in Spheric Maps. Just like you're watching this webinar now, you actually have the ability to collaborate with other users in Spirit Maps and broadcast your Spirit Map screen to your colleagues using our collaboration feature. The way you will do that is go up to the top toolbar and select the collaboration button, and then you will select new broadcast. Your broadcast will then start, and you will be given a code that you would need to share with your colleagues with Spirit Maps for them to see the broadcast. And what they would then do, and I'm going to go ahead and cancel this broadcast, is click on View Broadcast. They would then insert the code that you give them, and everything that you're doing in Spirit Maps would then be streaming live over to the other person's copy of Spirit Maps, and they can watch you walk through Spirit Maps live, very similar to what we're doing in this webinar. So if you need to give somebody a briefing of particular weather data and particular weather situations, you just come up here, you start the broadcast, you hand them the code, they'll go into their copy of Spirit Maps, they'll put the code in, and they can view the broadcast. Everything that you're doing on your map will be then mirrored to them, and they can see what you're doing in real time. Our broadcast feature is tied directly to Spirit Maps, so they will need to be logged into Spirit Maps in order to view the broadcast and insert the code in there. If you're a public safety official or someone that needs to broadcast Spirit Maps out to a wider audience or take screen captures for social media or videos of screencasts of Spirit Maps, there are some additional tools that can allow you to do that. But this broadcast feature is more for briefings between colleagues and users of Spirit Maps itself. And so that's a basic overview of the actual features of Spirit Maps. I now want to turn your attention to our alerting features in Spirit Maps, because in addition to Spirit Maps itself, we also have a suite of onboard alerting tools. The way that I generally get to these alerting tools is I will go to the Earth Networks Enterprise portal and then click on the alerting button. This then takes you to our alerting configuration tool. And the first thing that you will want to do here is create a location. You can create multiple locations in Spirit Maps, and you can create multiple locations based on either latitude and longitude or address. It's very simple to do. All you need to do is select Add a New Location, and it's asking for my location. You'll then just give your location a name. I'm just going to say my location, and then you can either enter in an address or you can enter in latitude and longitude. When you're done, you would just hit create location. I'm just going to back out of this for the time being. Once you've created a location, you then need to be able to manage the delivery of these alerts in Spirit Maps, and you do that by clicking on Manage Delivery. And there's a few different ways in which you can manage alerts in Spirit Maps. You can either do so by devices that are signed into Spirit Mobile. Any devices that are signed into Spirit Mobile will automatically display on the Manage Delivery page. You can also add an email address on this page, which will send the alerts out over email. And if you do need to send the alerts out over traditional text messaging, you can use the email to text format. So you basically format the number and then your carrier's, whatever your carrier's format is, for their email to text. And we do have a support article that gives you some of the most popular ones for the carriers, and you can send these out over text as well. If you need to add a new device manually, what you would do is select Add a New Device. You give your device a name. I'll just say my device. And then you will select your device type. In this case, I do email. And then you can insert an email address. For example, I can do info@earthnetworks.com, and then you would select Create Device. I'll just back out of this for now. Once you've set up your locations and your delivery, you're then going to want to manage some rules and create some rules for these alerts. And here's what the Manage Rules page looks like. How the rules work is you will go to Add New Rule, And there are three different types of rules that you can create in Spirit Maps. There's observation alerts, there's weather service alerts, and there's lightning alerts. Observation alerts allow you to take any of our weather observations, such as temperature, humidity, heat index, rain, pressure, and so forth, and then decide on certain parameters. So say if the temperature gets above 90 or below 32, or if the humidity gets above 90%, or if the heat index gets above 95, you can create these observation rules which will automatically send you alerts when those certain parameters reach that particular threshold. The other set of alerts that we have are the weather service alerts. These allow you to get alerts from the National Weather Service for all their typical alerts, whether it's severe alerts, severe thunderstorms, flash floods, tornadoes. We have flooding alerts. We have winter alerts. We have non-precipitation alerts such as fog advisories and dust storm advisories and frost advisories and wind advisories. We have the fire alerts, we have the tropical alerts, the coastal alerts, and even civil emergency messages as well, such as local emergency messages. Even if 911 goes out, we have the complete suite of National Weather Service alerts here that you can use as well. Also, we do issue our own Earth Networks dangerous thunderstorm alerts. The purple polygons I showed you, you can get those alerts as well. The third column we have are the lightning alerts. The lightning alerts take the actual lightning data from our Earth Networks Total Lightning Network, and you can choose how you want to be alerted when there's lightning near you. You can pick the radius. For example, if you want to know when lightning is maybe 10 miles or 15 miles from you, you can choose that in the lightning alert, as well as how many minutes do you want to be notified. So you can set it to be notified every 30 minutes or every hour, depending on how often that you want to know if there's lightning still in your area. And we can also send an all clear alert as well. There is also a way to set a silence time. So if there's particular times when you don't want these alerts to fire at a certain time, you can also set silence times as well. I'll take you through a typical, I'm just going to choose one of these and take you through a typical workflow on how you would set up one of these rules. You would first give the rule a name. I'll just say my weather alert. You'll then choose a device. One of the devices that you have under managed delivery would show up, and I'm just going to choose iPhone. From the list, you then choose a location. This will be one of the locations you set up under location. I'll just choose my office. And then you will go through and choose what parameter you want. If you want to use a combination of these, if you want to use weather service alerts and lightning alerts and observation alerts, you will need to set up individual alerts per type. So for example, if you want all of the weather service alerts, that will be one alert type. If you want lightning alerts, then you would need to set up another rule per lightning for the lightning alert type. And then if you have the observation alerts, you'll want to set that up in a third alert type. I'm going to pick lightning alerts, and I'm going to choose 10 miles, and I'm going to choose every 30 minutes. And I'm going to say that I do want the all clear message, and then you add the rule. Then you click the add rule button, and that adds the rule to your list of managed rules. Once you have it on the list, you will need to enable the rule before the rule will be active. And so you just need to come over here, and where you see off, click the button and switch it on. On this list, you can also download the rules. You can do a bulk edit, and you can also delete rules as well. So very simple to do. Once you've got your rules set up, they will work either in the Spirit mobile app. You will get them over email. You will get them over text message, however you set them up. That is how that functionality works. In addition to the rules, any locations that you create in the notifications section, you can display those locations in Spirit Maps. What you'll then do is go back to Spirit Maps. You'll open the Map Layers panel again, just like you would for weather data, and you'll select this button that says Your Locations. And Your Location shows all of the locations that you've added to the alerting capability in Spirit Maps. Green means that there are no active alerts going on at the time being. Red means that there is an active alert going on, and I believe there's also a orange color that happens in between the two. And so that is how you would look at your locations that you set in the alerting feature in Spirit Maps. In addition to the alerting capability that you set up here, you also have the ability to take Spirit Maps and your weather alerts on the go with Spirit Mobile. I've got my iPhone with me here, and I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of how Spirit Mobile works. Spirit Mobile is an app that you download from the App Store on the iPhone or the Play Store on Android. And once you've downloaded the app and signed in with your Earth Networks ID, you'll then be presented with a screen that shows alerts or locations. If you have any active alerts going on, which we don't today, you would see those alerts display on your phone, or if you want to see if there's any active alerts at other locations, you can see that as well. You can also slide the side menu out, and you can tap on Manage Alerts, and this allows you the same alert management capabilities that we looked at here in Spirit Maps. You can actually manage your alerts on the go. So you have that capability. Everything that you can do in a web browser at your desk, you can do this on the go with Spirit Mobile. Additionally, one of the best features in Spirit Mobile is the entire Spirit Maps experience also goes with you on Spirit Mobile. So everything I showed you today on the desktop, you can actually take in your pocket on the go and work with Spirit Maps right here on the go anywhere you are. So you don't have to be tied to your desk. You can go anywhere and have Spirit Maps there. All the map controls are there. The map views are there. You can switch between the map views. We've got the side menu. You can even share your screen. You can even start a broadcast. You can do the slideshows. Everything that I've showed you, all the map layers are here. I mean, it's all here right in your pocket. And so you can take all the power of Spirit Maps in your pocket on the go when severe weather's happening and I'm away from my desk and I want to see what's going on. This is just super handy, and I absolutely love this feature. In addition, your Earth Networks Enterprise profile is also available to you on the go in Spirit Maps as well. So if you need to do any management with that, you absolutely can. And so that is a brief overview of Spirit Maps. We hope you love it as much as we do. And I'm going to kick things back over to Anna and see if we have any questions that have come in. I know we kind of went through this a little briskly and briefly because I wanted to make sure we covered all of this ground. So if there's anything that, any questions that's come in or anything that you want me to go into a little more detail with, we've got plenty of time and we can go ahead and do that.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. We do have some questions. The first question is, will notifications audibly alarm through the web interface like they do currently in StreamerRT?
I haven't heard any audible alarms yet working in Spirit Maps. What does happen is in the upper right portion of the screen, this little icon does flash during an alert, and you can click on it to view the notifications, and the notifications display here, as well as any inactive notifications display here. And so that's how you get it. We've actually, and another thing about StreamerRT is any notifications that you've created in StreamerRT will now carry over to Spirit Maps because we're now using the exact same notification system between the two. In terms of the audible alarms, I have not heard any audible alarms working in Spirit Maps, and I've been using this during severe weather, during pretty active severe weather. That is a good feature request and maybe something that we can get implemented in a future release of Spirit Maps, so thanks for bringing that up.
The next question is there a plan to allow access to custom notifications from the main Spirit screen as it is available today in StreamerRT?
The custom notifications, so could you go into a little more detail on their question?
I think they want to know if they can access the notifications from the main Spirit map screen instead of navigating away?
Oh, instead of going into right now, that's the simplest solution that I know of in terms of getting to the notifications. I mean, this is the button that you go to view the notifications. In terms of alerting, the only way I know how to get to them in a very clean manner is by going to the enterprise portal and hitting alerting. It would be nice to have that capability where you could create the notifications inside Spirit Maps itself. I haven't seen that capability yet. In fact, even when I went into StreamerRT, I think some of that's even been scaled back a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. So, maybe we can implement that in a future update as well. That's a good question. And right now, I recommend go to the portal, set everything up in your portal, and then you can come back into Spirit Maps and see it.
Okay, the next question is, can you change the data density of things like the temperature plot that would allow it to display more or less data?
In terms of data density, I believe it's done at zoom level. So what I'm going to do is bring up current observations. We'll bring up the temperature plots. I'm pretty sure that everything's done at zoom level. We'll go over here. You can change the plot symbology, so you can turn that on or off. And so if you don't want these polygons on there, the polygons, I'll show you what they do. The polygons around the temperatures show you whether they're coming from the National Weather Service or whether they're coming from one of our own exclusive Earth Network stations. So you can turn the plot symbology off that to make it a little bit cleaner. In terms of density, I don't believe that you can control the density at the moment like that. I think it's all done at zoom level, and the more you zoom in, the more detailed the plots get. Yeah, everything's done at zoom level. So that's another good question, and maybe another feature that we can look into. But right now, it's pretty much controlled by zoom level. But if you don't like the polygons around them, you can try turning the polygons off, and that can look cleaner depending on what you want to. And that's the plot symbology feature under user layers. So you can turn that on or off.
Okay, the next question is, can you use the space bar to advance the slideshow instead of a timed interval?
Good question, and something that I actually have not tried. So I will go ahead and give that a quick run. We will start the slideshow and see how that works. And the answer is no. When I'm hitting my slideshow, it is not allowing me to do that. So right now it is timed only. The space bar will not control it. Good question.
Is there a limit to the number of email alerts that you can set up?
Not that I'm aware of. I've here in testing purposes, I haven't had to put too many of them into my particular copy. So obviously, I've not seen them. I'm not aware of any particular limit. So I would say try, and there is a way to bulk bring them in as well. I think there's an import button where you can bulk bring these notifications in. So let me go back to the Earth Networks portal, and yes, you can do what's called an import devices button. So if you have a bulk list of emails, you can import those into our alerting capability. I'm not aware of any limit. I would say just try bringing them all in. If you do have issues bringing them all in, reach out to the customer care teams and see if there's anything that, possibly any type of limit. But to my knowledge, you can bring in as much as you want.
Okay. Setting up devices. Are we able to send alerts other than email? I noticed mobile on your screen, yet I don't see that as an option.
Yeah, so how it works with mobile is, yes, there's actually 3 different ways you can send alerts. The first way that you can send alerts is, of course, email. Another way that you can send alerts is through text message. And how you would do it through text messages under managed delivery, you would use the email to text feature, and we do have a support center article on this that we can send you out that gives you the format for all the main wireless carriers. And basically what you do is you format the phone number in the first portion of it, then the @ sign, and then however the carrier asks you to format the text message the email to text format. For example, for T-Mobile, it's at tmomail.net. And so this particular one here is going to, it says it's email, but it's actually going to take the email and then convert it into a text and send it out as a text message on a phone. In terms of the mobile apps, what you will want to do is first, you're going to want to sign in to Spirit Mobile. You'll want to download the app from either the App Store if you're on an iPhone or the Play Store if you're on Android. You will want to sign in to the app first. Once you sign into the app and go back to the notification configuration panel, your device is going to show up under Manage Delivery. And so then when you go to Manage Rules and you click Add a New Rule, under the device, you will choose the device that shows up. For example, my iPhone that's signed into Spirit Mobile is named iPhone, and so I would just select iPhone. That's going to allow me to send the rules over push notification to the Spirit Mobile app. So that's how that works. You basically just need to download Spirit Mobile, sign into the app, then it will display under Manage Delivery automatically. And when you create your rules, just choose the device name. If it's an iPhone or an iPad, the manage rules, the device name will be however it's set up. I know Android devices have a little bit, some stranger names, like these say Samsung and then a serial number. So you'll just have to figure out the name of your device and then set the rules accordingly.
Okay, the next question is there a way to see county boundaries in Spheric like there is in StreamerRT?
Yeah, in terms of county boundaries, yes and no is the best answer for that. You cannot actually turn on the county boundaries at the moment as a user layer like we could in StreamerRT, unfortunately, and I hope we do add that feature in a future update because I would really like to see that. That would be very handy. One thing that you can do with some of these high-res maps, I've noticed at times they will display county boundaries. If I zoom in at the mapping level itself, some of these layers I've been able to get them to show county boundaries. The other time that I see county boundaries is during severe weather. So if I can turn on, let me go in here and turn on some of these severe weather alerts. Sometimes these county-based alerts will show up as you will see the county boundaries on the alerts themselves. And so I'm just going to go ahead and turn everything on. Some of these alerts are polygon alerts. Let me see if I can. Okay, here's some county-based alerts, and they do automatically draw the county boundaries on some of these county-based alerts. So you can kind of get there a little bit in Spirit Maps at times, but the full-fledged county layer functionality that you had in StreamerRT hasn't made it over yet. I do hope we bring that in because that would be handy. One thing that may be possible is you may be able to find a shape file or a GeoJSON file of the county boundaries. So if you can find a shape file or a GeoJSON file of the county boundaries for your area, you can then use the custom layers and bring it in. So that may be an option until we actually get full support for that in Spirit Maps.
Okay, the next question is, do you have a hardware available to interface the alerts to a custom control system in an industrial site?
We have a product called Outdoor Alerting Siren, Outdoor Alerting System, or OAS, and basically right now it's doing lightning alerts. And so I'm going to go to Earth Networks and show you works.com, and we do have what's called the Outdoor Alerting Siren. I think it's limited to lightning alerts at the moment. I know there's been some talks about opening it up to some other alerts, and so we do have the Outdoor Alerting System, which taps into our lightning feed and allows you to get lightning alerts outside. We also have an inside control model and all of that as well. If you have on-site hardware itself, we do have, of course, the actual weather data. We have a Spheric API, we have a Spheric data stream as well. And so if you have your own on-site hardware and need to tap into our alerts, probably Spheric API is going to be a good one. And you can take our weather data and pull it into the system as well. And so couple different options depending on if you have your own hardware Spheric API would be a good option for pulling in our data. If you don't have your own hardware, our outdoor alerting system is a really great system for lightning alerts, and I don't know what we're going to be doing in terms of other alerts with it, but I do know we're doing lightning alerts with that.
Okay, the next question I can answer, and that is, can we use some of these views on our social media platforms if we give credit to Earth Networks? And the answer is yes, of course. We encourage you to share views of spheric maps across social media like we do in our blog. So feel free, if you see some interesting weather going on, to share it. And
Sure,
then we have...
I'll make a comment on that as well. I do that all the time. I track severe weather here in Arkansas during a severe weather event, so I do it all the time and love showing off Spirit maps to people. So yeah, share them to your heart's content. We love it.
Okay. The next question is, how are the updates to Spheric maps rolled out to the user base?
They will automatically happen over the web browser itself. So I mean, there's nothing that you'll need to download and install in terms of the updates. They will since everything is web based, everything just happens automatically. You'll sign in and get the new features. Any updates to the Spheric mobile app, most everything was probably be done at the web front as well, since Spheric Mobile pretty much taps into a lot of our web stuff. If there's any particular app updates we need to do to Spheric Mobile in terms of the app itself, of course that app would be available on the App Store or the Play Store. In terms of the frequency of updates, right now I'm not exactly sure of the update schedule. I think we release updates when we have something new to give customers. I know we're going to try to get more of the features of Streamer RT into Spheric Maps so we can get everybody transitioned over to Spheric Maps and get everybody settled into the platform. Additionally, one thing we are looking at doing is some Streamer RT to Spheric Maps transition webinars, and we will probably do some periodic webinars anytime new features come out in Spheric Maps. And so if any new features come out in Spheric Maps, I'm sure we'll announce them on the blog if they're major. They'll be on the Earth Networks blog, and then we may even look at doing some What's New in Spheric Maps webinars down the road when we have new features. So we'll let you know when there's new stuff coming.
Okay. The last question is about the sunset date of Streamer RT. That one hasn't been set yet, so I can tell you as soon as we know, we will let you know. And that's it for questions, unless anyone has any more.
Yeah, in terms of the Streamer RT, yeah, we don't have a date on that, and we're also going to try to get more features into Spheric Maps before we shut it down. So you have plenty of time to get settled into Spheric Maps, get everything rebuilt in Spheric Maps, and we're hoping to get probably most of the functionality of Streamer RT into Spheric Maps before that happens. And so no, we're not going to just pull the plug on it until you're all comfortable and happy and settled in Spheric Maps. Anything else, or are we good?
That's it. That's all the questions.
Well, sounds great. Well, thank you all for coming out to this webinar. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And we will be conducting webinars such as this on a regular basis. And so if you have any other questions or you want to come into any of our other webinars, we'd love to have you again anytime. We'll probably do some other webinars more focused on transitioning from Streamer RT to Spheric Maps coming up. Of course, if you have any other questions, you can email into the info@earthnetworks.com email, or you can, of course, email into customer care if you have any support-related questions. We'd love to answer those for you as well. And thank you again for being here, and thank you, Anna. I'm going to send things back over to Anna to close it all out.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.